What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show today. I am Habis Prado, your host, and this is the Culture. Thank you for popping in, and we have some serious things to be discussing today. I feel like I want to be on the Joe Rogan style and smoke and have some puffs and everything like that. This is stressful. This is stressful. When we're seeing what's going on in the world right now. I don't know how we able to I don't know how we ain't in the streets right now just for humanity's sake of starving children. Like we're seeing a Holocaust happen right now in front of our eyes that it's man-made, and I just can't believe that it's that we're just every day just letting it go fly by. That's how I feel. I know I gotta quit smoking. That's my next thing, y'all. Hopefully, if I make it to 50 next year, and May 10th is my birthday. Don't give me a shout out if you won't. Next year, 50 is when I'm done smoking, man. That's what I want to be doing. Listen, it is horrible what we're seeing right now in this country. The support for Israel is 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 ongoing. It's not right. We sell these guys arms, and for some of my viewers that were mentioning, there's still things going on in Sudan. There's war all over the place. Proxy wars. I believe they said there was like 126 wars going on right now that are proxy wars. If you guys please subscribe to the show if you haven't subscribed yet. I can use all the help. Pretty soon I'm going back to Poland, and I'm gonna be broadcasting from Poland and hitting the streets and in Poland and discussing a lot of what's going on there and also here. I'm gonna be doing some fun shows when I'm over there. It's not gonna be as serious, and hopefully this crisis is already solved by then. Um, Today's show episode on our episode is what's happening on the ground in Gaza, the pain, the silence, and the media blackout. We're also breaking down what the president said yesterday in Scotland and what he didn't say. The world is watching. We're here to talk about it and what matters. No spins, no filters. It's just please tap and subscribe. Yesterday's news program was like sad for me because like he was asked a question on what's the images that we've already seen. We've all seen the images. We've all seen the pictures. We are seeing children with their face sunken in, bones. I mean, this is 2025, y'all. We are supposed to be a Christian nation, men of God, men of Christ, women of Christ. Mike Johnson, our Speaker of the House, Mr. Preacher Man in the House, like supporting this tyrant, supporting this animal. He is an animal. He's not even a man, bro. These guys are not even men to me, for real. Like seriously, it's disgusting. Listen to what this guy had to say. I don't even like calling him whatever you guys call him. I don't understand how we voted this guy in, but once you check out this clip and see what I see as far as no empathy, no love, nothing in his heart. Nothing in his heart, nothing in his I just watch for yourself and you guys see it. Here we go. Big shout out to MG. What is he talking about? This guy's Dude, embarrassing. Iran has nothing to do with the question that was just asked. A little off subject. They don't care. His overweight ass don't care about no starving children, and we're talking hottest in destruction. It's just disgusting. I can't. Mm-mm-mm. It still is. He's talking about himself. When he when he remember y'all, when he is saying this stuff, he's talking about himself. The conspiracy theories that he's involved in, with the Epstein Island and the Epstein connections. Like this man is such, like, he tells about himself so much that it's just crazy to me. Like, he's talking about himself, and we still, how do we allow this? You know, it's just, it's nuts to me. This is just classic I'm like, uh, a 5-year-old is well mannered. I've seen 5-year-olds well behaved and mannered than these people act, man. Like kids. Like, this is so crazy, man, that that I'm listening to this, that we allow this. How can we vote this in? How is this? There you have it, folks. There you have it, folks. He's 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 off. Have you seen the pictures of the starving children? And then he went on a tyrant run. I have no idea. I know I'm not the best speaker ever, but to be like so erratic and so off on your speech, it's absolutely crazy to me. We're gonna go listen into what's going on the ground there right now and see the devastation that is being made by man-made by the Israelis, and also I believe we're also complicit in this, and this is what's going on right now.
It has just come into effect in parts of Gaza to allow more aid to be distributed across the territory. Yesterday, Israel announced that there would be a daily respite in military operations, a major policy change, after growing international pressure over what the United Nations has called man-made mass starvation. On the first day of the pause, there were chaotic scenes as people gathered around lorries moving through designated humanitarian corridors. Supplies were also dropped from the air by Jordan and the UAE. The UN says much more aid is needed to stave off famine. Our Middle East correspondent Yolande Nell updated me on the details on the pause in military activity.
So the Israeli military has said it's going to allow these humanitarian corridors in Gaza for lorry loads of aid to be moved around. That's things like food and medicines in particular. That's started already at 6 o'clock in the morning local time. And then on top of that, you have these limited, localized pauses in the fighting that it's announced. They're supposed to last for 10 hours each day, and they're concentrated in 3 areas: in Gaza City, in Deir al-Balah in the center of the Strip, and Al-Mawasi, that coastal
Now,
area where there are
understand that
many
these trucks
thousands
have
of
been
people
being raided
displaced
by
now living
Israelis,
in tents.
Zionists,
So
or settlers.
the idea is supposed to be that this will facilitate much easier aid distribution within the Strip, but we haven't seen that already. Gazans have been expressing a lot of frustration at what happened on the first day. I mean, we had those dramatic airdrops. That was just 25 tons of aid that was dropped by the Jordanians and the United Arab Emirates. Really, a trickle in the flood of what is needed inside Gaza. And you only had about more than 100 lorry loads of aid being picked up from just inside the Gaza border. That is where it has really been stuck in recent days and weeks.
And they said these were to be daily. Did they say how long it's expected to go on for?
Well, the UN's aid chief, Tom Fletcher, talked initially about expecting this to be a week-long change in policy. And the hope, therefore, is that they can take advantage of that on this second day. Everyone will be watching in Gaza to see if things can now really kind of pick up speed. What Tom Fletcher said was needed was action that was sustained, vast and fast. Particularly, they're asking for much quicker approvals by the Israeli military for those lorries to access the Gaza side of border crossings and then move around freely inside Gaza.
And what about on the diplomatic front? We've mentioned that Sir Keir Starmer is going to be meeting President Trump today in Scotland, and I'm sure that Gaza will be very high, if not top of the agenda there. We had those
You would think it would be top of the agenda, but it's not top of the agenda.
Where are things on the diplomatic front?
So what happened last week? On Thursday, we had this surprise announcement by the US and by the Israelis that they were withdrawing their negotiating teams from Qatar, where indirect talks have been taking place between Israel and Hamas. And Israel then said it was considering alternative options on talks because of the lack of progress in sealing a new ceasefire and hostage release deal. What had been on the table was this idea of a 60-day truce, in which time you would have about half of the remaining living hostages. It's thought there are 20 of them that would be brought back. Hamas insisted that it had shown maximum flexibility in the ongoing talks, but there's really a huge amount of international concern that things seem to have stalled there. And I think that when Sir Keir Starmer talks to President Trump, he will be looking, as are other allies of Israel in the West, to see if those talks can be restarted, to see if there can be some progress there on an actual deal in Gaza.
Yeah, I don't believe they're going to continue. They're making a slight change because of the outcries that's coming around the country and coming around the world. I only believe it's going to get worse for these people. But let's see if this aid, like, they can open the borders and let food come in. They're doing food drops. We know that, but is that enough to take care of these people? I doubt it right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's really complex. But these images that we're seeing of these kids there's got to be something that more that we can do. And I'm pleased, if you're watching this show, if you're watching this podcast, and this is, leave a comment and give ideas on this comments of how we can make it better. Like, how can we help Gaza Palestinians? What kind of ideas that we have to make this better? We haven't hit the streets. I mean, we have hit the streets for Palestine, but I don't think that has been doing much effect to change what we already saw, what this president already said. So they're not moved whatsoever at all on this, Let's check out this clip and see. Right now, this was today. I think it was put up about a few minutes ago. It's about 6 minutes long. Let's see. It's talking about the Israelis. Is this my right clip here, guys? Let me see. I don't think I got the right clip for you guys right now. Hold on. I'm about to fix that. This one is it. So this is how it looks right now, and this is what the world is seeing, and it's crazy to me because it's like this shouldn't be happening right now, like at all. So, well, this is the world we're living in right now. Okay, let me play this for you guys. I don't know what's going on with my internet right now. Airdrops.
Security official. The shift comes as the humanitarian crisis in Gaza deepens by the day. Images like this illustrate the growing desperation. The health ministry there says dozens have died from starvation and malnutrition just this week. And though ceasefire talks are ongoing, there's no end in sight for the people of Gaza. More now from CNN's Jeremy Diamond, and a warning. You may find the images in his report disturbing.
There are no bullet holes or shrapnel wounds marking this man's body. His bears the signs of a far more silent killer: starvation. At 41 years old, Mohammed al-Hassanat is one of at least 45 Palestinians who have died of malnutrition in just the last week, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. An entirely man-made humanitarian crisis in Gaza, now reaching unprecedented levels. The question now is not whether starvation will claim more lives, but who will be its next victim. Most food stocks have run dry. Malnutrition cases are skyrocketing, and there is only so much Gaza's under-resourced hospitals can do. At one of the few soup kitchens still serving meals, the growing desperation of Gaza's population of more than 2 million is clear as day. 28 Western nations, more than 100 humanitarian aid organizations, and top UN officials have all said Israeli policies are to blame for the starvation crisis now unfolding. That's because Israel imposed a total siege of Gaza between March and May. And since then, Israeli restrictions on the entry and distribution of aid have snowballed into an utterly avoidable disaster.
I don't know what you would call it other than mass starvation. And it's man-made. And that's very clear. And this is because of blockade.
Israel denies it is using starvation as a weapon, pointing to hundreds of aid trucks inside Gaza awaiting UN pickup.
I wanted you guys to see these trucks.
The UN says Israeli authorities have repeatedly failed to authorize.
If you go into YouTube and look at, if you go into these trucks, there are videos of these humanitarian aid trucks being ripped out, like flour being thrown on the ground by Israeli settlers, and the IDF is allowing it to happen. Okay, so there's actual footage of war crimes of them letting settlers get on these trucks and throw the flour to the ground. People, this is like demonic. This is not okay. This is very evil. Very, very evil. God, this is so evil. What I have been seeing, what you've been seeing, this is not who we are as Americans. This never was us. Okay? We should be ashamed of ourselves. We should be ashamed of this government, and we need to do things. We need to do something about it right away. I'm gonna finish this clip up, and then we've got about 10 minutes to go, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
Safe routes to pick up those stockpiles. But the reality of starvation is impossible to deny, including for Israeli news channels, which rarely broadcast such images. Fadia Abu Namus has been in line since 6 a.m., hoping to fill up a pot of lentil soup to feed the 9 members of her family. We've had enough of starvation and oppression, enough of staying in the streets like dogs, where no one looks at us, where we can't find anything for our children to eat or drink. Signs of hunger are everywhere in Gaza. This man collapsed while sifting through the wreckage of the latest Israeli offensive. He says he hasn't eaten anything lately but scraps of bread. Moments later, his body gives out on him again. He's simply too weak to go on. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.
Repent.
Horrible situation indeed. We're joined now by Jada Doyen McKenna. She's the CEO of Mercy Corps, a global.
Check out Mercy Corps. Go to Google and check these guys out. They're doing great work. They're trying to do great work, but on the ground. But as we know, they're being stopped in every single way. You guys seen the images of these starving children there? You know, it's what's the global response and what's our responsibility? We need to analyze the international community's response. We need to do more. We need to call to action. I need you guys out there to do some tangible action. Donate to trusted aid organizations, share information, and advocate for policy changes. Talk to your local leaders and your government. Please make those calls. You know, the key stuff that is really sad about this is how the president is engaging the press. I think the press is doing a better job in showing the images. I think we need to see that. But we're so desensitized as a country and as a world where seeing starving children doesn't really move people anymore, especially dying starving children. That is in 2025, and as you can see where the president is right now, and his mind frame, where it doesn't even, it was like, whatever. These billionaire pedophiles, we need to root them out. We need to ask for those Epstein files, get him out of office. We need to put somebody in that has some more heart and love for humanity. The images are heartbreaking, but the reality is even worse. That we got these people, and they are like shameful. You know, why do we deal with this, man? You know, right now there's 470,000 people in the brink of famine. 470,000 people. You know, tune in tomorrow. We're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna try to bring in a little bit more artsy tomorrow. I'm gonna be discussing some graffiti, doing graffiti artists. It depends, because this, I feel like if I don't keep talking about this every day, with my friends and my followers, that it's just gonna get buried under the rug like what their IDF is trying to do. I really want to do something more uplifting. I would love to do something more that is engaging with art and music and more culture. But this is the culture that we're living in America. This is the culture we're living in America right now. We're sending our tax dollars to bomb those people. We are bombing them. We are starving them. And Israelis just asking for more and more and more and more and more. When have the Israelis done anything for us? In every war that we fought, the Israelis have not been side by side with us. Iraq, Afghanistan, it was the Poles, the French, Europe. These people have just been asking for money. And our politicians have been giving it to them, and feeding this monster, feeding this disgusting monster. It's a shame. Tune in for my next show. I'll be describing it tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be talking about more Gaza. You guys let me know if you guys want more. I've been doing the research. I don't want to keep triggering people. This is so upsetting for me. I'm going to definitely get back to the male survivors and male sex abuse. That's something that's really dear to my heart, and that people need to hear, that men are victims too. So alongside our sisters, and we need to talk about that and healing the home, healing the men, healing the home, and healing the community. Right now, I feel like our leaders are broken men in their homes, obviously with a habituate adulterer that's never had to done anything for himself in life, and lived off daddy's money. Give us the Andrew Tates. That's not what masculinity is. That's not what men are. That's not who men are. That's not the image that I want to leave for my son and my grandchildren about masculinity and men, and these tyrants that are so-called, that we call leaders, cowards. That's not who I those are not the men that I grew up and wanted to imitate and be like. Not these guys. We need to do something about this humanitarian crisis. Please subscribe to my show. I will be taking some ideas from you guys for a few different shows that would like to do. We'll be in Poland in a couple weeks, and I'm excited to be bringing you guys a show from there. So tune in, subscribe. Thanks for the support and love, and I'll be seeing you guys maybe later, okay? Peace. God bless. Free Palestine. And pray for those children. Pray for me. Christ is King. And we need to have some serious prayer for this world. Thanks again for tuning in, y'all. See you soon.